Alright, chaps, we are here in the second part of this lesson, or second lesson, and we're going to remind ourselves again on linear equations. There's nothing new here from last year, but I know it was quite tough last year, so I'm going to give you another little quick, snappy reminder, but that means you probably have to do another 20 minutes of work at home, and I'll tell you which, below the video, I'll tell you which one. So, we've got a function, or we've got a graph, and we need to figure out the function. Okay, so it's obviously linear. If it's linear means straight, it would look like y equal mx plus c. In other words, we need to know what m is and what c is. Okay? Now, before we specifically look at that graph, I want to ask you, what is n and what is c? What does n mean and what does c mean? Okay? Let's just hear you back. Right. Okay, so I think Sina's saying I used A and B instead of M and C. Obviously, it's just letters. It doesn't matter. But what we do need to know, what does matter, is that your A is your gradient. Okay? That's good. This information will help us now to calculate it. Okay? A is how steep it is. It is high, then it will be steep. If it's small, not so steep. If it's negative, going down. See it really well in the video. Okay? Right. B, okay, B, all he says is your vertical shift. Yes, vertical shift from what graph? From a graph that will go through the origin. In other words, B is your y-intercept. If you put x equals 0, that dies. Okay, so that's the value of y. Okay, so B is your y-intercept. So let's look at a few scenarios and learn a few ways of how we can calculate this A and B. Starting when I have a graph with these 2 points. I don't have any y-intercepts. What can I calculate here? When I've got these 2 points. I'll speed you along because the lesson is kind of going quick. Okay? I can calculate the gradient. Right? I can calculate the gradient. And we know that the gradient is actually A. So how do we calculate the gradient? It's, I don't know if have you seen this way written like that? Delta y over delta x. I used it with my lot last year. The change in y divided by the change in x, okay, is your y2 minus y1, okay? That's the 2 and that's the first. So y2 minus y1 divided x2 divided by x1, or x2 minus x1, okay? So in this case, what is y2 is 4. What is y1 is 1. What is x2? 2. What is x1? Minus 3, but I need to do minus 3. It's all stuff that you've done last year. I'm just reminding you, and you need to practice it. Okay, I'll tell you which question to do. Okay, so I'm doing the second y divided minus the first y divided by the second x divided by minus 6. If you by any chance swap the points, you did this y minus 1 minus 4 divided by minus 3 minus 2, you'll get the same answer. I tend to go from right to left. Right. So what do I have here? 3 divided by 5. That's the answer. So A equals 3 over 5. So I can write down y equals 3 over 5x plus b. Okay? So I found out A. How would I find B? How would I find B? I'm still missing B. I don't know why they. What's the y-intercept? Why am I going to do? You're going to say? Again? Just solve it. But I don't. I can't. As it is, I've got x, y. I can't solve b. I need to put something instead of x, y. I need to substitute something in x and y. What should I substitute? I don't have 0 anywhere. Josie? Okay. I'm going to put one of these points. Look, I've got 2 of these points. They are x and y. Remember, these points are not just numbers. Okay? This is a certain x and this is a certain y. So if I'm going to put 2 inside here, okay, if I put 2 inside here, what I must put instead of y? 4. If I put minus 3 instead of x, then what will I have to put instead of y? 1. I choose which one. Okay, so I chose that. So we're going to write 4 equals 3 over 5 times 2 plus b. Okay? So now I can solve for b. Right? Now I can solve for b. When I can't solve for b when I have x and y. I don't know what x and y is, but I know. I'll just substitute one of the points. So I'm going to get 4 equal 8, and not 8. 3 times 2 is 6 over 5 plus b. What do you get? Okay, b equal 4 minus 6 over 5. How much is that? Okay, I'll take 5, so 5, 20. B equal 14 over 5. What did you say? 2.8. 2.8. Okay, 14 over 5. I think it's the right one. Okay, and then voila, I know what b is. Where did I write b? The equation. B now I can see is 14 over 5. Okay, so that is my equation. Alright? So, what did I do? First of all, found the gradient. I need 2 points. I found the gradient, calculated A, substitute one of the points in X and Y, solve for B. Okay, I'll pause that. We're going to do one more. Okay, another way of doing it. Sometime when you have the graph, you'll have one of the intercepts. This is, what is that? X-intercept or Y-intercept? Y. Intercept the Y-axis, so Y-intercept. So the first thing, what I would recommend you, if you ever see something like that, where it says 3, then I want you to convert it. What's the coordinate that we've got here? Okay? What is 3? The Y or the X? The Y. What is the X equal to? 0. So I would just, personally, especially in the beginning, grade 10, do yourself a favor, just turn it into 0, 3. So now you know what the X and the Y. Now the first thing you can do is the same way we did. You've got 2 points. You can calculate the gradient. The gradient is going to be A. Then substitute one of the points, and you'll get the B. But you can do it easier, because gradient is a bit clunky. It's a lot of hard work. Okay? There's another way of doing it. We can find out. I'm just going to pause for a second. So that was one way of doing it. But because I've got the y-intercept, there's a more clever way of doing it. Okay? I can substitute the y-intercept into that graph. And I straight away will get B. Okay? And it's the hint is, Ollie gave us the hint that B really is the vertical shift. In other words, B is the y-intercept. Okay? What is B equal to? Can anyone guess straight away what is B equal to? 3. Okay? B is the y-intercept. Just in case you're not sure why that is, let's have a look. I'm going to put 0 instead of x. What will I have to put instead of y? 3. When x is 0, y is 3. So I'm going to write 3 instead of y, a times 0 plus b. And because I have 0 here, that's going to kill the a. In other words, b equals 3. So straight away I know it's y equal ax plus 3. Okay? So just remember, b is the y-intercept. Okay? You don't even need to do all that. I'm just kind of showing you. You can, in a test, no problem. You can say, all right, this is 3, b is 3. How are we going to find a? So how can we find a? Ollie says I can just calculate the gradient. Yes, but that is quite complicated. What I can do is, right, I've used that point, let's use that point. Okay? What I can do now is substitute. Instead of y, I'm going to put 5. Instead of x, I'm going to put 2. Okay? And now write the equation, a times 2 plus 3 equals 5. And now solve for a. That's easier than calculate the gradient, if you agree. Okay? What does that say? 5 equal 2a plus 3. 2a equal 2. A equal 1. Okay? And if a is equal 1, we just write it as x plus 3.
Take the 5 out, you put 3 in, and keep it
I'm just going to pause and okay, just bear with me, guys. Now, Ollie suggests, why can't, if I use 0 and 3, it will be easier. Okay? In fact, you can't do it. Let's try. Okay? Ollie says, instead of 2 and 5, let's put 0 and 3. So I'm going to write 3 equal a times 0 plus 3. Well, what is a times 0? Okay, guys, very, very important. Just listen. A times 0 is 0. So all I'm going to have is 3 is equal 3. Great. Very, very happy. 3 is equal 3. But I didn't calculate a. Why can't I use it? What's going on here? To get that b is equal, how did I calculate b? I used that point. Now there's a kind of a rule is you can't use the same information twice. I used that point once to find out b. I'm not going to be able to use the same information, same coordinate to find a. I need to use the other coordinate. Okay? Right, chaps. What I'd like you to do, I'm gonna just gonna pause here for a second. Okay, so what you guys have to do now is practice. You really need to practice. It's not enough just to listen to me. Okay, you need to have a look at exercise 8. Okay, I will write down under in OneNote. I write down which questions you have to do because you can't do all of them. But it's really, guys, really important that you practice that. Okay, so all stuff that you learned last year, but I know you forgot. So it's important that you just go through it again. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.